This is Joe, your average Joe. He has a life like any one of us. He has a wife and 2 children whom he loves very much. Joe has a stable job and really wants to be the best at what he does. Last week, Joe got an offer to get a promotion if he can cope with the constant workload. So Joe wakes up early in the morning every day at 6 a.m. to get ready for work. He rushes to get to his office because his work starts rather early at 7 a.m. He works throughout the day tirelessly in the hopes of showing that he can work hard enough to get a promotion. Joe works for about 8 hours straight, then afterwards he heads over to get some dinner with his co-workers. And after that, he heads home to get ready for his usual night out of cards, bowling, a movie, or just some good old drinking with some old friends. Joe usually gets home around 2 to 3 a.m. in the morning. This week, Joe seems to be a bit off though. He's come to work on time but doesn't seem to be very alive. He's moving around his area, stretching constantly, and seems to be getting around really slow. The other thing that many people notice is that Joe seems to be getting more moody as the days go by. He's working at his desk and even hello is too much to ask for from him. He even shouted at one of his coworkers saying, "This is a workstation, not a playground." Overall, everyone has been seeing Joe's work deteriorate. His workstation is a mess with food, wrappers overflowing in the trash, and tissues everywhere from all his sinuses. He even missed an important meeting with an important business associate. What many people knew was only half of the story. Joe at home was another story entirely. Joe did not reveal to his fellow colleagues that he had actually been in debt for a while, which was why he wanted to get a promotion so badly. As the weeks progressed, Joe eventually died. Just kidding, but Joe's health wasn't in a great state. Joe began to gain weight and continued to want to eat more and more. He felt weaker at work every day and just couldn't put his thumb on what the problem was. All he saw was the problem of his debt. Now, what is the one thing that could be the root cause of Joe's problem? Looking around you, do you have peers or colleagues that suffer from sicknesses easily, prone to having errors on their routines or even repetitive tasks? Or do you see some of these qualities in yourself? For those of you who haven't guessed it just yet, all that's wrong with Joe is that he hasn't gotten enough sleep. He works too hard and doesn't give enough time for his body and mind to rest. Similarly, being a student or a working adult, you seem to struggle a lot to have your assignments or project deadlines met, and hours at night seem just right for your work on your tasks. Listen, you could be the next Joe, but hey, don't be upset. Here's some good news for you. You could set yourself free from all these miseries by changing your current sleeping habit. Note that few barriers such as peer influence stemmed from social life and your negative attitudes could stop you from your behavioral change. However, once you've managed to change, you can avoid the problems we've talked about and enjoy the benefits of living a physically and psychologically good life. So first, you have to get your mind right. You're gonna have to identify your negative thoughts and challenge them bravely and fearlessly. Be ready to throw off all your unrealistic expectations, catastrophizing, exaggerations, and hopelessness that will fuel your sleep problems, and challenge them by questioning the evidence of these thoughts, analyzing these unhelpful beliefs, and testing out the reality of these negative predictions. Most importantly, replace all these negative thoughts with realistic thoughts. Understand and acknowledge that your sleeping problem can be cured through your effortful practices and the focus on positive solutions. So now here comes the interesting part. It's time to get some easy peasy hands-on learning. To manage your sleeping quality, avoid caffeine at all costs. It'll keep you awake if you drink before you sleep. Another big no-no would be alcohol. Studies have shown it actually disrupts your sleeping cycle. 1 hour before sleep is the time you need to get your mind and body ready for sleep. So that means doing some meditating or listening to some music and not using your phone. When you want to sleep, make sure you're in an environment that is silent and dark. Set your room temperature to about 19 degrees Celsius and start hibernating. Sleeping. All in all, we want you to sleep enough, sleep well, but not too much. Research showed that oversleeping coincides with higher rates of mortality and diseases. When you are really drowsy in the afternoon, you may take a nap, but remember to limit your nap time so that you get a proper night's sleep. In a short conclusion, now that you know so much, are you ready to change yet? Well, Joe had done his part and is living a happy life now. What are you waiting for?